It's Monday, December 23rd, 2024. This is Rolling Thunder. I'm Chris.
I'm Ryan.
We're back.
Yeah, it's been a while. You're probably wondering where we've been. Where have we been, Chris?
Yes, all our 9 viewers are wondering where we've been.
And 2 of them are us?
Here, just busy. Just, you know, it's that time of year.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Christmas time is here.
That was a really good impression of me singing a song. Thank you very much.
I've heard him sing. I can validate this.
Yes. It's funny, before the show on Saturday, so Andy was making me do vocal warm-ups, like the ones they do for the singers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Glug, 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 glug.
Yeah.
Yeah, my ladies does those too. I mean, she hasn't, like, sang in quite some time.
Okay.
This is where I have to, like, be careful because it's on YouTube and I don't want it to look like I'm choking your cat who's trying to eat my cord. So,
we don't want PETA coming after us for animal cruelty.
Oh, I hurt this cat.
Yeah.
I hurt its little heart. Don't pet him. Don't feed him. It's like, where's my food?
So how you been, Chris?
You know, I've been, I mean, it's holiday time. It's fucking stressful as shit.
Okay, let's start there. Are you a Christmas person or are you not? And
I am not.
Is that because you're constantly having to play Little Timmy or not Little Timmy?
It's mostly because they
Tiny
assume
Tim.
I'm going to be an elf, I think.
I'm surprised.
That's why.
I'm surprised you don't lean into that and just go full Christmas.
I can't. As much as I'd want to, I can't.
No?
No.
I was out shopping yesterday before the show that I had, and there was a guy dressed up like a Christmas tree walking around the mall. Just not having to do anything with the mall, just choosing to dress like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, I like Christmas, but I don't know if I go that far. Like, I don't know if I'd let, like, Andy or you or any of my caregivers dress me up like a gingerbread house or something.
I mean, the way I look at it is, like, if I hear Christmas music before December, I am upset the entire season.
Really?
Before December. I see Christmas stuff on sale at stores before Halloween.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
It always comes out in October.
Dude,
yeah.
fuck off. Christmas stuff should be on sale. I wouldn't even say after Halloween, like definitely after Halloween, after Remembrance Day.
Okay.
That's when.
You should write your local politician and
I have.
discuss this matter. Yes.
I said, I'm sick of this bullshit. Tell Canadian Tire to fuck themselves. I think we need Halloween. We need slutty dressed women. And then we need a breather to be sad that people died, but mostly we didn't get to fuck those women.
Okay.
And then as soon as that's done, put out the Christmas stuff for sale.
Yeah.
In fact, if you wait that long to put out the Christmas stuff, I'll let you play Christmas music then. But preferably not. I don't want over a month of straight Christmas music. No, it's too much.
Well, I always pictured you as like a huge little drummer boy enthusiast, you know?
Dude, all I want for Christmas is this music to fucking stop. That's all.
Aw. Breaking my heart over here. I feel like I'm doing the podcast with the Grinch right now.
No, listen, I
no,
just
you
see
play
it.
the dog. Yeah, you're Max.
I see it as just overproduced, over-commercialized bullshit.
It is.
And it's like, I bought a gift for my nephews. They don't listen to this podcast. It's Battleship. They're a little young for it, but
Is it like the electronic one or is it the old school one?
Nah, it's the old school one. It's actually one with airplanes, which
Nice.
I've never even played that version.
No, I've never even seen that version.
I'm totally interested to see what that version would be.
Interesting.
So I mean, it's funny because.
But don't you find the holidays to be a time where you can actually get together with people you haven't seen in a while?
I mean, do I want to? That's that.
Okay. Let's just get to the brass tacks of things.
It's not that. I mean, oddly enough, so I just watched a documentary called "Join or Die," and this documentary is about how humans have become less like community seekers over the past 5 decades or so. And someone made like a theory that this was clearly like a corporate America pushed for it, because it's just people in less groups, including like unions, include like any sort of
so people
Shriners, Oddfellows, whatever community. There's way less of that.
I'd agree. There are more and more places like the Lions Club and stuff. Even for example, the Legions.
Yeah.
Around here, like they're like running out of membership because all their members are dying off.
And people are less likely to sign up for memberships. And like, so it's based off of Robert Putnam's book is what inspired this documentary. At least the first one, which was Bowling Alone, which oddly enough, as I was watching the documentary, I was like, Robert Putnam, how do I know that name? And then when they mentioned the book, I was like, well, I've never read the book, but I was aware of it.
Okay.
So I was like, that's interesting. And I think it's one of those things where like, I don't really have a community that I feel like I belong to.
Even comedy community?
Even that, I always feel like a fucking outsider. I feel like it becomes very cliquey, and I don't want.
It is very.
I don't want
school.
a piece of that at all. Like I'd rather
wrestle the independent circuit.
I've always said, like, I always try to. I mean, it's something that was brought up to me because I went and had coffee with another comic today, and I was explaining the situation with another comic that you and I had that we'll not discuss on this podcast.
Okay.
In fairness. But it was one of the things where I explained to her the situation, because I was like, oh, you have no idea like what happened. And then I was telling my lady about like my history with that person and how I told Steve Allen at Kingo Cafe, who would give comics chances and opportunities, like, hey, take a look at this guy because I think they're very funny and I think they could use the shine. And then I told that person as well, like, do your A stuff because they're watching you tonight. And then the crowd wasn't the greatest. So they just phoned in, like, did none of their A stuff, phoned in. And I was like, what was that? And they were like, well, that crowd didn't, like, they weren't worth A stuff. And I was like, but you're showcasing for the guy who runs this show.
Yeah, for future workings.
Like,
yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I think here's the thing with that too. I think because a lot of people now come from the everybody gets a participation ribbon society, so there's no I wouldn't even call it competitiveness. That's not the right term. I would say there's no urgency in a lot of people to be like, oh, I have an opportunity here that's going to lead to future opportunities. Yeah. I better not fucking drop the ball here, you know? And it's a shame to see that happen, especially when it's someone that you're trying to help out and potentially like help them further their career, you know? So
Yeah. But so my point was that
sorry, I didn't mean to.
no, not at all.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd rather you actually talk. This is our podcast,
Okay.
not mine with you chiming in.
Okay.
But the point, because I kind of slid off to explain my point is like I would still rather see everyone succeed.
Yeah.
So my views on the comedy community is I do try to help out people where I can.
Me too.
And that was a circumstance where I was definitely trying to help out someone.
Ironically, I was too in that situation.
Sure, yeah. I mean, in the situation that we had, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, as was I, to like open that up and say like, hey, let's try this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But so like, I tend not to feel like I fit in most communities. I don't want to be a loner, but it's like, I mean, I don't have a community that I necessarily want to hang out. And I'm not saying I don't want to hang out with comics. I love comics, but it's like, so, you know, I don't do that stuff as much as I probably should. And
I don't either, but I have different reasons than you probably.
Stairs.
Yeah. No, well, personally, okay.
I could see you in a Shriner's hat.
I know.
I would love that.
I was thinking about joining the Water Buffaloes, actually. That's what I was going for. Really. I had an uncle that was in the Shriners side story.
Yeah.
And he was part of the Shriners band.
Yeah.
And he got to drive those little cars. But part of the other thing that him and his wife did with the Shriners is they went to children's hospitals. And they dressed up like clowns.
Yeah.
Like full-on makeup, the whole deal, big shoes, noses, the whole fucking balloon animals, the whole deal. And I was a child at a children's hospital getting surgeries that had to do with my cerebral palsy at the time. And my dad and mom knew that I was terrified of clowns. So they warned me ahead of time that your Aunt Carol and Uncle Walter are going to be visiting, but they're visiting all the kids in the specific unit that I was in.
Okay.
But they were going room by room, and I knew it was them. I could tell their voice, even at that young age. I knew it was them, but I wouldn't let them in the room dressed as a clown. I made them.
We're watching Stephen King's It right after this.
No, fuck no, dude. No way. Even Andy makes fun of it, and Emma and Michael, they all make fun of me, the fact I hate clowns.
I wouldn't do that to you. There's no way.
Which is ironic because a lot of people associate like comedy with clowns and stuff, and no, hard pass. No, thank you. There's that comic in Calgary, and I can't remember her name. She's very sweet.
Lori Gibbs.
Yeah, and her parents are party clowns.
Oh, I was just fucking wildly.
Oh, Lori Gibbs.
I don't know if it's Lori Gibbs.
No.
I doubt that.
No, I forget what
I think Lori Gibbs' parents are probably in their 80s at this point.
Yeah, well, I forget what the young lady's name was.
Is that Nina?
No.
Okay. No. I don't know who it would be then.
It's somebody out of Calgary. They came through Vancouver not too long ago, and I ran into them again. And they still made fun of me for the fact that I had never met her before. And I was opening for Matt at the Laugh Shop in Calgary.
Okay.
But I came 5 days early because I did a bunch of other shows while I was there. Like I headlined a bunch and everything. And I did, I think the place is called the Velvet Underground. It's down a set of stairs. It was really, really hard for me to get into.
Okay.
Anyway, the girl that I'm talking about was hosting, and she told that story about how her parents were like party clowns, like children's entertainers. And I'm like, I remember wheeling on stage and being like, I don't know who your parents are. I'm sure they're nice people. I've never met them, but I fucking hate your parents.
Yeah.
And I got one of the biggest pops that I got on that set of shows.
Yeah.
Just because people could tell it was coming from an honest place of like being terrified of clowns and not liking that whatsoever. But I remember as a child, even, like I said, they would often have like children entertainers and people doing magic coming in. Mm-hmm. But anytime there was a clown, I was like, not happening. I'm not letting him in my room. I'm staying in here. I can't do it. So
I would say my biggest fear.
Yeah.
If people would see me around it, they'd say heights. But it's not heights. It's being thrown off of a height. That's my biggest fear.
Oh.
If I'm like on a balcony and someone like touches, I'm like, don't fucking touch me. And they're like, are you afraid of heights? And I'm like, no. I love the Royal Rumble. And that's the last thing I want is someone just hauling me over.
Over the top rope.
That's my biggest fear. I don't know why, but it's
funny.
I think it's some like childhood trauma thing where my mom was dating some guy.
And you took it a little too far?
No, so we were like touring a brewery. And they were looking like inside the silo.
Okay.
And without even saying like, hey, he just like lifted me and put me so I could like over the edge so I could see inside the silo, and it felt like he was just gonna fucking let me go. And ever since then, it's like if anyone touches me near an edge, like I've like backhand punched people for that.
It's good to know. It's good to know.
I'm like, don't even. I could walk to an edge and look down and go like, yeah, that's a long fucking drop.
Yeah.
The second someone comes near me, I'm like, no.
It's good to know, man.
Absolutely not.
So we're not going to reenact that part of the fundamentals of carrying when he takes him to the world's deepest pit and then he stands him up on the stretcher so he can pee over the edge. Because that's when you've never seen the movie.
I have not seen the movie. We can reenact that. I'm saying you're just not allowed to touch me near there. That's all.
Near there. Okay. Gotcha.
I'll hoist you up. I'll keep you there. I'll keep you safe.
Okay.
I won't drop you.
Okay. We can roll.
But if you reach out, I might drop you. Don't fucking touch me near the edge. It'll be like when Homer tries to fucking jump the gap on a skateboard.
Yeah. We'd be better off taking cannonballs to the gut.
Yep, for sure.
Than doing that. Yeah. That's funny.
You're mixing your episodes, goddammit.
I know. I was just throwing it in.
I like the boxing one too, where he's just like taking the beating until they're exhausted and then pushing them over.
It's so
fucking hell.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a crazy few weeks since we've done a podcast, and
I mean, I do apologize that we haven't been doing it,
and me too.
Yeah, but Chris and I have been really busy. I had a bunch of corporate Christmas shows to do, and I think we talked about them a few times, but my opinion on them still hasn't changed. I mean, I appreciate the work. I will do the work.
Yeah.
I'm a paid professional. I will power through and keep talking, even though everyone is terrified to laugh because their bosses are there. And it's just, it was the first time I got to pick my number. And I totally shortchanged myself.
I fucking told you, man.
I know. I should have asked for way more than I did. So
there's like a Gary Vaynerchuk clip where he's talking about the first time he was asked to give like a talk. How he's like, they're like, yeah, we want you to come do a talk. How much do you charge? And he's like, Like, he never knew how much to charge.
Mm.
He was just like, $1,000. And they were like, okay. And he was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Because they answered right away. Okay, fuck.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, shit, how do I? And he looks, he goes, oh, sorry. I thought normally I do 10-minute talks. This says 30. I charge 5,000 for 30. And they were like, okay. And he was like, son of a bitch.
That's funny.
I should have charged 10,000.
Well, that's funny because with me, a lot of the corporate stuff that I've got is all disability, like organization related.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, and I'm super grateful. And you know me, man. Whether they're 8 or 88, I'm gonna put on a show. So that doesn't bother me. What bothers me about my own, when they make me pick my number, is I think of, oh, I'm disabled, so like these organizations don't have a lot of funding. I can't, like, I don't want to bid myself out of getting the gig, right? We talk about that too a lot. And then I showed up to this gig, and I swear to you, man, the spread they had, because they said we could grab something to eat before I got there. The spread they had was probably, I don't know, $1,500 to $2,000 worth of cheese.
Oh, sure.
Alone. And I'm just like, as soon as I saw that and saw how everyone was dressed, I'm like, motherfucker, I should have asked for triple of what I asked for.
The corporate I did for BMW was like, man, it was huge. And I was like, the money I'm being paid for this. I didn't establish how much I was being paid. That was like given to me through my agency. But I was just like, you guys should have asked for way more, because they could have afforded it for sure.
Yeah.
They had some fucking close-up magician, and by the time he got on, the crowd was overly drunk. I mean, they were not good to begin with, mostly because of the setup. There was like this giant fucking dance floor, and all the seats were like way to this side of the stage and way to that side of the stage.
I did the corporate like that.
Yeah.
In the summer, where it was at the old Vancouver train station.
Okay.
And they had, it was for a Caribbean and whiskey festival. So they had like a whole bunch of like booths for people, Caribbean Whiskey and Cigar Festival, that's what it was. And they had booths set up for different like whiskeys and different cigar companies, and then different Caribbean restaurants and stuff had booths. But it was all spread out around the outside walls of the, like, it was inside, but it was on the
of the venue. So like,
yeah.
Okay.
And then
like the perimeter.
Yeah. Then they had a band play right before they brought me out, and then they had a huge dance floor and an eating area that was completely on the other side, and that's where everybody sat. So I was literally, it felt like I was on a 1,000-foot stage.
Yeah. With
nobody in front of me. And they had me playing over the PA system.
Oh, fucking brutal.
Of the building.
Yeah. And
it's a little train station. So it's just like an airport. So every fucking thing that came out of that sounded garbled.
Yeah.
And I remember Sam Tonning and...
Your attention, please. No parking in the white zone.
Yeah, that's
the red zone.
That's what the venue is like. And it was just, there was like one or two people that were paying attention, and everybody else was like, why is this dude in a wheelchair in the middle of a dance floor with a boom mic talking into a microphone right now? I might as well have just like read off the daily specials at a deli or some shit. And Sam Tonning and Harris Anderson were there, and I hear Sam in they had a smoking section set up for the cigar festival, and him and Harris are in there puffing away, and I hear Sam yell out, "I'm pulling out my phone and filming this because I've never seen Ryan LaChante's bomb in my life." And I just burst out laughing.
Yeah.
And I was hired to do half an hour, but I think I did like 17 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm getting off stage because I'm just like, fuck this, man. I'm out because no one's paying attention. And I was like, this is more painful than anything. It felt like I got hired to do a comedy show, and then the TV show Punk'd decided to like not have an audience show up or whatever. And that's what it felt like. So I was just like, I'm leaving. And I hear the people saying, oh, we set up your merch table. You can just put your merch here. I just looked at Michael and I was like, I'm good. Let's go home. And I just left. I just fucking left. It was.
I did some show where like a bunch of wrestlers were there.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, let's all just stone face Gaskin. And I bombed so bad.
That's so funny.
Sorry, that story fucking tuckered you out.
Oh,
you don't see me yawning at your shit right now.
Sorry. It's my edible kicking in that time.
Okay, fair enough. I can see your eyes are getting a bit more squinty.
Yeah. I went from 0 to 100 pretty quick, so.
Yeah. I mean, even the news has been like fucking wild over the past.
Yeah, the whole Trudeau government shit.
That stuff has been crazy. The fucking Luigi.
I haven't really followed any of that.
Dude, so
I know the main story of like the dude he shot and everything, but I heard that he's like getting all this press.
Yeah, so they transferred him from where they found him to New York.
Yeah.
And then he gets off the plane, and they had like 40 people walking him from the plane
no shit
to like a cruiser, and it's like, no one's doing anything. The comments on like the videos when they were like, we got to catch this guy, were the best. Like, they were showing him on the bike, and like the top comment on that was, there goes my hero.
That's funny.
Like, it's one of those things where, I mean, I was talking about how we've seen like the decline in like community, but the thing is like, and that also affects like wealth distribution and that. And the wealth distribution is at a point where it is getting close to roughly where it was during the French Revolution.
Yeah, where it's like there's a definite divide for sure.
And like these fucking CEOs and everyone on like this top end, they're fucking scared, and rightfully so, that like one of the CEO for the top insurance provider in healthcare in the States was basically assassinated, right?
Yeah.
And it was 100% like a politically, you're not helping people. That's what that move was.
Yeah.
It wasn't a fucking...
Okay.
Right? So they bring this guy out. They're making a show of it. And the way I look at it is they're like, damned if they do, damned if they don't. Because they can charge him and put him through, and he gets fucking, prosecuted. Like, if they give him the death penalty, I don't see that as a deterrent.
No.
Because people are getting desperate.
He almost turns into a martyr for the cause.
Yes. And I'm like, they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. Because if they fucking slap on the wrist, all these, what's essentially a fucking oligarchy in the States now, all these rich fucking people will be like, how could you only give them that? But if they give them the death penalty, I don't see things as getting better either way.
No, I mean, I think honestly that situation and some of the other stuff that's been going on in the world is just a sign of that things are we're only getting started.
And it's like,
I don't mean to turn our podcast into a conspiracy theory podcast, but I know that Ghost of Matt Dillon would appreciate us right now because he always appreciated a good conspiracy theory.
Yeah. I mean, I don't look at it like a conspiracy theory thing.
No.
I think it's the lower class is getting pushed and desperate.
And we're tired of it.
And it's like you can only push a populace so long before they push back.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's what happened during the French Revolution. It's what happened like when fucking Caesar was in power. It's like literally, it's history repeating itself.
Yeah.
And it's like we're seeing the precipice of that right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's odd because you have that, and the juxtaposition is Trump getting involved. And oddly enough, it's very similar to when Trump got voted in the first time.
Yeah.
It's very much a we want to disrupt the situation. And I'm one of those, like, yes, American politics, Canadian for that matter as well, needs to be disrupted because two-party
systems
they don't work.
No, they don't at all. And
they don't work.
We've discussed this in a previous podcast.
And it's like, that's what Trump originally represented. But it's one of those, like, here's what I want. Not like that. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that situation is.
It's like a rich kid who can get what he wants, but he's a picky eater.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who's funnier, Trump or George Bush.
Leave it up to me to use a food reference. But anyway, that's okay. Sorry. Continue.
I was going to say, because I saw that clip again of, like, George W. Bush doing the, if you're supporting terrorists, we're going to find you. We're calling all countries to help us get all these terrorists. And that's the beginning and end of it. Now watch me hit this drive. And then he fucking walks up to a golf ball. And I was like, man, I miss W. That guy was the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
He killed me, man.
But this whole thing of, like, Elon Musk being buddy-buddy with Trump is scary, too.
It is literally, like, oligarchy shit. Like, what's going on in fucking Russia. You know? And, like, the Russian people are too scared to push back. Right? Like, a good chunk of the people in Russia, probably, I think they were saying more than half the people in Russia disagree
with Putin and what they're doing.
With Putin and, like, the Ukrainian war.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, that's been going on so long. And then, like, you have the states.
Not only that, sorry, I'm high, so my brain's bound. Like, even in Syria and stuff now, too, like, you can tell that there's a shift in the world coming. And
yeah.
Have you ever heard of a series of books called The Three Body Problem?
Yes. I've never read them, and I feel like I've seen some. I think there
was
a
Netflix series.
Yeah, a Netflix series that was based on it.
The guy that wrote them, he has a crazy story too, because it was his. He was trying to pitch it for years to be like the Chinese version of Star Wars.
Okay.
Like that kind of like trilogy series kind of, and he was pushing the idea, and he had a business partner, like basically a financial backer that was a Chinese gangster and ended up getting this guy killed and everything. But it's like this crazy whole story about, what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
was that the one with, like, the fucking invisible laser grid and the ship?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that scene was fucking awesome.
Yeah, but the whole idea of it is like, the history keeps repeating itself.
Yes.
But they notice, like, it's kind of like a multiverse thing where they notice that pattern happening. So it's all the activities that they try and do to, like, basically control how things turn out.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's a 3-series book, and it's based on like a basically these people play this online game, and if they get past a certain point, then they get this invitation to go to this meeting, and in this meeting, it's basically the group of people that are in power to make all these decisions to switch the timeline or whatever. It's my point is, there's a 3-series book, and I found the first one confusing because it's translated from Chinese.
Okay.
So all the characters have Asian names,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I would get so confused because they'd be like Commander Wu, but then there'd be like 3 different Wu people in the book, and I'd be like, who the fuck is this person again? And because it was different, it was generational resets and everything, that I'm just like, I'm so fucking lost. Mm-hmm. So I just stuck to the main plot line and kind of forgot about people and just focused on the story itself and the idea of society resetting itself. Mm-hmm. But my point is, it's a really good book. Sorry, I just
I mean, that is my fear, is that this is a society reset.
Yeah.
That, like, man, but part of the argument of that one that I was watching was saying, like, if there's more community-based stuff, like, all of that shit evens out, because there is, like, the power in numbers and that.
Yeah. I think eventually, just with inflation alone, I think the sense of community will start to come back, and people that are in the middle to lower class, ourselves included, will eventually just like start looking after each other more and have like community gardens and shit like that. And
I mean, I hope so. I don't think the community garden, but like, mind you, it's because every experience I've had with a community garden, it's just like, here's a garden where you have a plot where you could put your stuff. Like, there was no actual real community there. It was just like, so that's Doug over there Doug, what are you planting today? Potatoes. Doug's planting potatoes.
Okay.
Do you know anything about Doug? Yeah, he plants potatoes. That's all I know about that. He's bald. He's bald and plants potatoes. He kind of looks like a potato.
Yeah. I remember the other thing I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah.
When you said bald, it reminded me of it.
So what's that? And then we should wrap this up.
Okay. By the way, I'm just going to say this. I missed this, dude. I'm glad we're doing it again.
Yeah, me too.
So,
yeah,
it's good to be back, people. All 7 people. Hey, DK. What's up? I know DK watches the podcast.
Yeah.
Because he tells me all the time. So, shout out to DK.
I feel bad for him. That's, what do you want to talk about?
Okay, sorry. Well, as you know, I spent the weekend at our local club in Surrey. Mm-hmm. Because Randy was performing, and I knew Gavin and Devin, and I met Andrew. Like, I knew of Andrew.
Grant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those fun weekends, dude, where, I wasn't performing. I did a guest spot on one of the shows, but it was just one of those weekends that I really enjoyed comedy again from a comics perspective. Mm-hmm. Because let's be honest, when we do shows, you and I don't do this because we're friends, but a lot of the time when you work on the road with people, even though it's a communal thing that we're doing, we're representing ourselves, and therefore a lot of comics kind of stick to themselves or whatever.
Yeah.
And everybody's got their routines, but it was one of those weekends where the features and Andy, like, she was hosting, and the headliner, we all watched each other's set each weekend. There was really good conversation. There was, like, I was really proud of Devin Alexander because there was a point right before the second set of shows on Saturday, where he pulled Andrew Grant aside and he's like, I wanted to give you some constructive criticism because I know you're trying to get better. You can take my advice or you can tell me to shove it, but he was like, maybe you should try setting up your set this way or coming at it this way. So, and that's the way the weekend was the entire time, where everybody was looking out for each other. Nobody was trying to like stick to themselves or just make it about themselves.
Yeah.
And it was just a really enjoyable weekend, and that's one thing I really enjoy about working with you two is we have fun because we're friends, like, we can trust each other to do our jobs.
Oh, I mean, the number of times that, especially, I would say basically every show that we've had, I introduce you, and then I leave the showroom to make a phone call, like,
yeah,
because I'm like, he'll do what he does, and
yeah.
And then we could always debrief afterwards as well if there's something I notice or whatever. I have stayed and watched you a couple times.
Well, I'm not saying that it was like this staying and watching each other's set. It was just, it felt like everybody was out for the show. And it wasn't everybody out for themselves. Like, that's the approach that I've really tried to been taking over the last couple years. And I think that's what's given me a lot more confidence. Is I go up there and I'm like, it's not about me, it's about
the show.
Putting on a good show.
I'm the same way, though.
Because I'm going to be honest with you, Chris. When I had to do that guest spot for my recording, right about 15 minutes before I went on, I was in so much pain that Andy looked at me and goes, do you want me to, is there anything I can do? Do you want me to find a way to get you home? Because I was in so much pain. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? I've already been sitting around for the first show, so I had nothing but time to think about it.
Yeah.
And, which is, as you know, with me, often more of a hindrance than a positive thing. So I was just not there. And I knew most of my set was not my best. But it got to the end and I'm like, I'm just going to show these people what I can do, because the whole show, you could just, it had that feeling in the room like these people are going to be tough. You know, like they're going to laugh individually. They're not going to laugh as a group. And yeah, it was just one of those weird audiences. Not in a bad way, but there was like every second person in the front row of maybe 30 people that they had lined up because they were all in a big party were all bald. It was just like one of those weird fucking audiences where every person that yelled out wanted to be part of the show and thought as soon as they started talking that it was okay for them to do it the entire time. And it just felt, my point is, I guess, how sometimes our job feels like it's not a job, but sometimes it is a job. Well, this weekend for everybody on that show, it was a job.
Yeah.
There was no like, oh, they're going to be a fun crowd and it's going to be easy. I'm not saying what we do is easy. I'm not trying to downplay what we do. And I'm not trying to sound so arrogant that I'm like, I fucking kill every time, because frankly, with my topic of conversation on stage, it doesn't resonate with everybody. So, but yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking like, sometimes I remind myself that it's a job we do,
Yeah.
because it doesn't feel like a job because I love it so much. And then there's that stupid expression, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. Like,
that's bullshit. That expression is bullshit. There's nothing wrong with work, by the way. It's just understanding your value in the work. It's like...
Sorry, I'm
no. For me, it's one of those things. I'm going to sidebar and digress for a moment here. Like, finding enjoyment in the work makes you so much happier.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, the other night, I fucking bombed off my ass at your show. I felt very bad about it because I have a standard for myself that I hold very high.
Me too. That's why.
And
I feel the same way about myself.
And it's like I care about the show.
Me too.
So, I mean, realistically, I was not in a headspace to do comedy. And I should have just said to you, you know what, I'm out tonight. As much as I actually want to come by, I'm out. Maybe I'll come by and hang out. But, like, there was a point of me, by the time I got off stage, I was like, okay, I had a rough one. What can I take away from this?
Yeah, that's
like I didn't wake up the next morning or even dwell on it that night and be like, that was awful, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like, it was work to do that. Like, no, I'm glad it was work to do that. Because my takeaway was, I need to figure out a way sometimes to put myself in the right headspace because I'm not good at masking how I feel.
Me neither, man. You can read me like a book. You know that about me.
Yeah. So, like, if I'm in a pissy mood and then it's like go on stage and then my first joke doesn't work because I'm not like, hey, how you guys doing?
Yeah.
And I don't want to fake that, you know?
But
it's
at the same time we have to sometimes, like.
No, but that's my point. Going back though is like I learned from that show, hey, I need to find a way to put myself in the right headspace. That doesn't mean I'm gonna my whole mood is gonna change.
Yeah, but at least it gets you in, like, I got a job to do.
Yeah.
I agree, 100%. Especially at our points in the careers that we're at, we should be able to do that. You know, it's like Emma says to me. She's like, your body might be hurting. You might be, well, I'm just going to be honest, you might be depressed because I have suffered from depression a lot. But she's always...
Mostly from going bald, I'm assuming, but continue.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, I've been depressed since I was like 19 or something, so...
You've been depressed the whole time I've known you, so I would assume so.
Well, maybe that's got more to do with the company I keep.
Oh, Jesus. Good one.
Yes.
Touche, you tipping my cap to that one, you son of a bitch.
Let the record show. But, yeah, it's just... one of those things.
I do enjoy like a good weekend where it's fun hanging out.
Yeah, man.
With the people and just.
Like when we go on the road, we have fun.
Yeah. Because
we enjoy each other's company. We have interests.
Yeah.
Outside of stand up that we can bond over, and we're just get along as people. I mean, shit, you wouldn't be living with me right now doing this thing if that was the case. So.
That's right. And it's like, I also look at it this way, where like, I mean, going back to the whole everyone watched each other's sets, I have so much trust and faith in you as a comedian that...
You're not worried about it.
I'm not worried about it. And worst case scenario is you're asking me to come on stage a little bit early, and it's like, he's not in the room. Fucking cover 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
And you can cover it.
Yeah.
You know? So. Anyways, you got anything coming up?
Honestly, just trying to get the Galaxy show off the ground again.
Okay.
Actually, before we go, I was going to ask your opinion. We've decided to let it be a free show. And then but at the end of the show, we'll just tell people, well, it's not free, it's by donation. And
Sure.
then at the end of the show, we just get people to donate what they can if they want to, or if they, there's no pressure. But I got tired of internet ads, and so I'd rather take those 8 people, entertain the fuck out of them, so they turn into 16 or 32 next time, and grow it that way, and have a sense of community, and just tell headliners that, hey, when we do it by donation, there's some shows where we can make a lot of money, but there's some shows that aren't going to make a lot of money, and not worry about trying to sell tickets and, And
I don't think that's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have to find a way to market it regardless.
Yeah.
But it's not a terrible idea. So.
Yeah, especially because sometimes you get a venue that doesn't want to work with you or do anything either.
I mean, you just don't do what I did and accidentally spend 4 times the amount on Facebook ads.
Yeah.
I think I meant to. I mean,
that being
realistically.
said, dude, we had a great show.
Oh, yeah, we did. We did.
And people were entertained. So.
And hopefully we'll swing something where we can go back in the spring and actually
do it properly.
Yeah. So.
I agree.
All right. I'm up at New Year's Eve. I'm doing the feature spot at Yuck Yucks.
Yeah.
So that's what I have coming up. And then
I'll be in the audience that night, so come out and hang out with us.
Yeah, and then starting in the new year, I don't technically have anything lined up, but I'm going to try and be out doing spots in Vancouver. Not as much as possible because I only have so much gas in the tank. But, I'm going to try and get out and do
quality over quantity, my friend.
Yeah, couple shows a week at least. So
nice.
As we build to putting some stuff together on the road and working from there. So
yeah.
All right.
I can't wait to get back on the road with you, man. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be fun, and we'll show people what the fuck we can do.
Yes. On that thought, I'm gonna say goodbye on behalf of Chris and myself. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next time. Yeah!